Imagine standing on the deck of an ancient ship at night, the ocean stretching endlessly around you, dark and unknowable. For centuries, humanity has looked upon the sea with a mix of awe and dread, spinning stories of creatures lurking just beneath the waves, monstrous, otherworldly beings that challenge our sense of reality. These are not just fairy tales told around campfires. They are the echoes of our deep-rooted fascination and fear of the vast, mysterious waters that cover most of our planet. Legends tell of titanic beasts with eyes like lanterns and tentacles that could drag an entire ship into the abyss. Such tales found their way into the myths of many cultures, from the kraken of Scandinavian folklore to the giant serpents that terrorize sailors in Mediterranean waters. But are these sea mutants merely products of imagination, or could there be kernels of truth hidden in these ancient stories? Early human experiences with the ocean were marked by ignorance and awe. The sea was a place of danger, its depth and impenetrable veil concealing life forms unlike anything seen on land. When sailors ventured into unknown waters, they often misinterpreted what they saw. Giant squid tentacles caught in fishing nets were mistaken for inky appendages of monstrous krakens. Serpentine shapes glimpsed in the waves became sea serpents. Some shipwrecks and strange carcasses washed ashore fueled speculation, their unfamiliar forms sparking terrifying stories. The ocean's capability to inspire both wonder and horror is vast. It is a living mystery that has always provoked human imagination to fill in the blanks with monsters. But as knowledge expands, science reveals what lies beneath, sometimes confirming the plausibility of those myths, and at other times dispelling them. Many ancient sea monsters described in legend were composites of known animals combined with fantastical traits, a blend born of unknown realities and human creativity. The giant squid, for example, known to grow over 40 feet long, is now recognized as a real creature that likely gave rise to the kraken myth. Such creatures inhabit realms we rarely visit, where sunlight never penetrates and pressures would crush any human explorer. This zone, the deep ocean, is home to some of the most bizarre and alien life on Earth, starring species that seem like the offspring of nightmares or science fiction. When explorers equipped with modern submersibles began filming these creatures, public fascination reigniting questions about what other mutants the ocean might conceal. In folklore and literature, sea monsters often symbolize chaos and untamed nature. They embody humanity's collective unconscious fears, primitive anxieties about the unknown depths, the uncontrollable forces of nature, and perhaps even our own inner turmoil. Psychological interpretations see these monsters not just as external threats but as mirrors of our subconscious, reflections of fears of engulfment, loss of control, and even death. It is no coincidence that tales of sea monsters often spike during times of social anxiety or when new oceanic territories were explored. The mythic sea creature becomes a vessel for human fears as well as fascination, a symbol navigated carefully in stories that blend horror and beauty. Scientific study of the ocean has demystified many alleged sea monsters but also revealed creatures so bizarre they could be dismissed as fantasy. For example, the grotesque goblin shark, transparent deep-sea jellyfish, and vampire squid all sport appearances that would be unsettling if imagined without context. Misinterpretations still plague eyewitness accounts, such as decomposing basking sharks mistaken for mythical plesiosaurs or oarfish spawning serpent legends. Sometimes, unusual phenomena like strange sounds captured underwater add to the mystique. Advances in genetics and deep-sea exploration continue to expand our understanding, painting a picture of life that is both astonishing and eerie. The transition from myth to reality is gradual but fascinating. Science confirms many creatures once deemed monstrous do exist, while also opening new questions. How does life adapt to the crushing pressures, freezing temperatures, and utter darkness of the deep abyss? What evolutionary experiments have resulted in these strange anatomies and behaviors? And crucially, could new mutations or undiscovered species scientifically account for some of the more mysterious and terrifying legends still whispered among sailors? Each new expedition into the deep draws us closer to answering these questions, while revealing the ocean as a place of ongoing biological mystery and wonder. Humanity's evolving understanding of the ocean also challenges us to reconsider what normal life forms are. the boundary between fact and fiction shifts with new discoveries. Could some sea creatures be natural mutants, shaped by extreme conditions, or even influenced by human environmental impact? As climate change, pollution, and radiation alter marine ecosystems, new forms of life could appear, strange hybrids or resilient survivors adapting to unprecedented challenges. So the question arises, how much of the ancient fear of sea monsters is rooted in an intuitive grasp of nature's unpredictability? Modern science suggests the ocean's depths will continue to surprise us, perhaps with creatures that seem like something out of our darkest imaginations. So here stands our enduring dilemma. Are sea mutants purely the product of fantasy, or might they be reality hidden in shadowy, unexplored ocean realms? The truth likely lies somewhere in between, wrapped in mystery and illuminated incrementally by science. The ocean remains our planet's final frontier, teeming with life forms as strange and haunting as any legend. As we peer into the dark, cold waters, we confront not only the ocean's secrets but our own fears and hopes. And so, the dance between fiction and reality continues, as the sea whispers its ancient stories to those willing to listen. The ocean's abyssal zone is a world so alien that it might as well be another planet, hidden deep beneath the waves. Stretching from roughly 3,000 to 6,000 meters below the surface, this shadowy realm is shrouded in eternal darkness, where sunlight never penetrates and temperatures hover just above freezing. The crushing pressure here would instantly obliterate any ordinary creature from the surface, yet life not only survives but thrives in these extreme conditions. How is this possible? How do these strange animals defy what we think of as the natural limits of life? It's precisely this mystery that captures the imagination. A place as remote from our everyday reality as the farthest reaches of space, yet closer to home than any distant stars. The environment itself reads like a science fiction setting. Water so cold it numbs, total absence of light, and a pressure so immense it can squash a human body without effort. Most of the abyssal zone is a vast, flat plain of muddy sediment, punctuated by towering underwater mountains and dark trenches. Hydrothermal vents emanate clouds of superheated minerals, creating oases of life powered not by sunlight, but by chemical energy seeping from the Earth's crust. This lack of photosynthesis means food is scarce, and survival demands extraordinary adaptation. Here, the food chain depends largely on marine snow, tiny particles of dead organisms drifting downwards, fueling a delicate ecosystem in perpetual shadow. Creatures dwelling in the abyssal depths exhibit some of the most unusual and otherworldly forms imaginable. Gulper eels with enormous jaws that can swallow prey twice their size, translucent ghost sharks gliding silently through dark waters, and siphonophores, colonial creatures that can extend like living tinsel, glowing faintly in the black. Bioluminescence is a key survival tool, converting chemical energy into eerie light to lure prey, communicate, or confuse predators. Evolution has crafted beings with eyes adapted to near-total darkness, or in some, absence of eyes altogether. These adaptations reveal a brutal economy of energy and resources, where every trait is honed for the challenge of living in a crushing, sunless abyss. But what does it mean for evolution to work in such an environment? In the abyssal zone, natural selection operates under pressures almost unimaginable on land. The scarcity of food slows metabolism, forcing animals to conserve energy, grow slowly, and reproduce less frequently. The intense cold and pressure shape unique physiology. Muscles and skeletons are often reduced, and bodies are fragile and gelatinous rather than rigid. Some organisms anchor themselves with long stalks, reaching above the oxygen-poor seafloor sediment to breathe, while others have developed long legs to scavenge widely across the muddy landscape. How does life manage to find balance in such a hostile world? The products of this evolutionary creativity blur the line between the biological and the bizarre. Scientific expeditions over the past decades have lifted the veil on this abyssal realm, revealing extraordinary biodiversity, but also persistent mysteries. The very notion of calm under the sea is challenged by discoveries of bioluminescent displays that light up like underwater fireworks, bizarre predatory strategies, and unexpected social behaviors. Yet much of this deep sea remains unexplored, with enormous areas as uncharted as alien planets. Each voyage into this darkness has brought new species to light, strange forms that defy classification, causing scientists to rethink assumptions about life's possibilities. What exists beyond our view might be creatures so strange they rival myth, yet they remain grounded in evolutionary reality. This realm's tranquility belies a complex food web fueled by chemosynthesis around hydrothermal vents and the steady fall of organic matter from above. The immense pressure keeps respiration rates low, creating a slow-paced ecosystem where survival depends on patience and precision. Carnivorous fish, scavenging crustaceans, and bottom-feeding worms form an intricate network of life, finely attuned to the rhythm of the abyss. Here, animals must pierce the veil of darkness with intelligence and sensitivity, sensing faint vibrations or chemical signals to find prey or mates. The ocean depth forces life to invent new senses and strategies. This evolutionary ingenuity often results in creatures that appear almost supernatural, the very definition of sea mutants. However, the abyssal zone's mysteries hold a subtle horror, too, reminding us how little we control our planet. The low oxygen levels near the seafloor threaten species survival, and environmental changes ripple through these remote communities in ways we are only beginning to understand. As human activity pushes into deeper waters, with mining, pollution, and climate change, the fragile abyss faces unprecedented risks. Could these extreme conditions accelerate mutations or trigger unknown evolutionary pathways? Might we unwittingly summon new, strange life forms, evolutionary hybrids born from human impact combined with nature's ancient processes? This chilling possibility bridges scientific fact and unsettling speculation. The abyssal zone pushes the boundaries between known reality and the unknown, a dark frontier where evolution plays in shadows and light. It challenges us to imagine life beyond our terrestrial limits and to respect the profound complexity hidden beneath the sea's surface. Exploring the abyssal depths forces us to confront our fears, our curiosities, and the fragile beauty of a world as alien as it is essential. The questions it raises, about survival, adaptation, and mutation, remind us that the ocean still harbors untold wonders and potential monstrosities. As we gaze deeper into this abyss, are we witnessing the evolutionary future, or merely glimpsing echoes of ancient secrets that refuse to fade? Mutation, a word that sparks both scientific curiosity and eerie wonder, especially when we consider the creatures inhabiting the mysterious deep sea. At first glance, mutation might seem random and chaotic, but in the darkest depths, it's a finely tuned dance of survival and adaptation. Life in the abyssal zone faces brutal pressures, freezing temperatures, crushing depths, and scarce food resources, each forcing genetic changes that can seem like biological experiments gone wild. Could these mutations be creating the very sea mutants that ancient sailors whispered about? Recent genetic studies provide striking evidence that mutations in deep-sea creatures are not only common but crucial to their existence, shaping life forms that defy our earthly expectations. Scientists have discovered that many deep-sea fish, despite evolving separately in different oceans and at different times, show the same genetic mutation. This remarkable convergence focuses around a gene called RTF1, which affects how DNA expresses itself under extreme pressure conditions. The mutation in this gene appears repeatedly in multiple lineages of fish living thousands of meters underwater, indicating that this genetic tweak provides a vital advantage for survival in the crushing depths. This phenomenon, known as convergent evolution, shows nature's clever recycling of solutions, where different species independently develop similar adaptations to overcome the severe challenges of their environment. But what does this genetic mutation actually do? It enhances the efficiency of the DNA transcription process, essentially boosting the ability of deep-sea organisms to produce the proteins they need to survive under enormous pressure. Imagine the intense physical stress cells undergo at depths where every square centimeter is pressed by thousands of kilograms of water overhead. Without this mutation, the creature's genetic machinery might simply fail, shutting down essential functions required for life. This mutation is a profound response to an environment where normal biology would crumble, revealing just how dramatically life can adjust its inner workings to endure the impossible. These genetic adaptations illustrate a broader truth. Deep-sea evolution is a slow but relentless journey. Some fish lineages entered the abyss millions of years ago during the age of dinosaurs, becoming ancient survivors of an unforgiving realm. Others arrived much more recently, after the great extinction events reshaped Earth's surface life. In each case, the harsh conditions selected for similar evolutionary paths, recalibrating genetic codes to maintain existence in extreme cold and darkness. This narrative is not merely about survival but about life inventing novel ways of becoming, constructing stunning, sometimes grotesque forms that seem like living nightmares, yet are documented facts of nature. Beyond mutations like the one in RTF1, multiple other genetic changes have been identified in deep-sea species. Some fish have lost genes related to eyesight, adapting to a world where invulnerability to light is a handicap rather than an asset. Others have expanded genes responsible for sensing minimal light, helping them navigate an environment where bioluminescence is the only illumination. Complex mutations affect mitochondrial functions, energy production, and cellular repair mechanisms, all geared toward maximizing life's tenacity in a realm where many perish. These molecular changes underpin the fascinating diversity of life, from ghastly translucent fish with alien features to strange microbial communities thriving near volcanic vents. Mutation, however, is a double-edged sword. While it drives adaptation, it can also lead to unexpected and sometimes disturbing changes. Elevated mutation rates in certain deep-sea microbes and animals suggest that their genetic code is under constant stress, potentially leading to unusual forms and behaviors. Scientists have even found evidence of human-made pollutants like PCBs and flame retardants infiltrating the deepest ocean trenches, raising concerns about whether artificial chemicals might be accelerating mutation rates or triggering novel, unintended genetic shifts. The implications are haunting, as these sea mutants might be as much products of natural evolutionary pressures as of human environmental impact. Evolution in the deep sea is therefore not a static picture but a dynamic, ongoing process. These genetic mutations raise profound questions about the limits of life on Earth. Could new mutations produce creatures so bizarre and alien they border on the monstrous? Could certain areas of the ocean be hotbeds where evolution experiments with life forms that blur the line between known biology and nightmare? Such possibilities echo ancient legends, lending a chilling hint of truth to myths that have been dismissed as mere fantasy. In the silent, lightless depths, biology continues to twist and turn in unexpected ways. Mutation is the unseen artist shaping the ocean's strangest inhabitants, crafting life forms adapted to an environment beyond human experience. Each genetic alteration is a tiny revolution, echoing through generations and manifesting as bizarre anatomy, unusual behaviors, and haunting beauty. Through the lens of modern genetics, we glimpse a reality where sea mutants are not just fiction. They are living testaments to the power of evolution to adapt, surprise, and even terrify. The deep ocean reminds us that the boundary between normal and mutant, known and unknown, is as fluid and mysterious as the very waters hiding these creatures from our eyes. Bioluminescence, the living glow of organisms beneath the waves, is one of the ocean's most captivating mysteries and most subtle horrors. Imagine peering into an inky abyss where light has never penetrated, and suddenly, spectral flashes ripple through the darkness. This eerie glow is not magic but a sophisticated chemical reaction that deep-sea creatures have evolved over millions of years. At the core of this phenomenon are molecules called luciferins and enzymes known as luciferases, working in tandem to produce light energy inside cells. Unlike the sun's warm, broad-spectrum light, bioluminescence generates cold, bluish-green or sometimes ghostly red flashes perfectly suited for underwater visibility, piercing the darkness without revealing too much to predators. But why do these creatures light up in the first place? What do these bursts of living light mean in the context of a relentlessly dark ocean? The deep sea is an extreme environment where darkness reigns absolute, save for these faint glimmers of bioluminescent light. Many deep ocean animals wield their glowing powers for survival. Some use it as a delicate beacon to attract mates in the utter blackness, others as a veiled weapon or a deceptive lure to snare prey. The anglerfish famously sports a bioluminescent, fishing rod, extending from its head, glowing like a lantern to beckon unsuspecting victims close enough to capture. Counterillumination camouflage, another fascinating tactic, allows creatures like certain squid and fish to match the faint light from above, rendering themselves nearly invisible to predators lurking below. The strategies are as varied as they are ingenious. A dark ballet choreographed by evolution in silence and shadow. At the molecular level, bioluminescence dances on the knife edge between chemistry and biology. The reaction involves the substrate luciferin oxidizing in the presence of the enzyme luciferase, a process that releases photons, particles of light. This reaction is highly efficient, producing little to no heat, which is essential for organisms living in cold, fragile environments. Some species even harbored symbiotic bioluminescent bacteria within specialized light organs, effectively outsourcing their glow to microscopic factories that keep their hosts illuminated. This symbiosis hints at an ancient evolutionary relationship, where living organisms harnessed chemical energy not only to survive but to communicate in the language of light. How deeply this bioluminescence influences behaviors like mating, territory, or warning signals remains one of the deep sea's most tantalizing enigmas. Most bioluminescent light in the deep ocean appears in the blue-green spectrum, wavelengths most capable of traveling through seawater. Red light, abundant on land and surface waters, is almost immediately absorbed in the ocean's depths. However, some deep-sea creatures have evolved the rare ability to produce and perceive red bioluminescence, a secret spotlight invisible to nearly all other animals. This gives them a distinct advantage, allowing predators to hunt undetected or communicate in exclusive visual channels. These creatures, sometimes dubbed the ghost predators of the sea, reveal the ocean's hidden complexity. Isn't it chilling to think that unseen eyes may be watching us, blinking in a language we cannot decipher? Bioluminescence also serves as a defensive mechanism, a last flicker of hope against predators in a lightless world. Many animals release a sudden flash or cloud of glowing fluid when attacked, dazzling or confusing their assailants long enough to escape. Some deep-sea squids and shrimp create luminous clouds that drift through the water like underwater smoke bombs, obscuring their movements in a ghostly veil. Others unleash glowing streaks or pulses along their body to distract or intimidate predators. This defensive glow isn't just spectacle. It's a high-stakes battle for survival played out in the darkest depths, where silence and invisibility are often the only weapons available. Scientists continue to unravel the complexity of these light-producing systems, revealing new biochemical pathways and evolutionary puzzles. Certain molecules involved in bioluminescence, such as coelenterrazine, are shared across diverse groups of animals, suggesting a convergent evolution of this mesmerizing trait. Interestingly, these molecules might have evolved initially to combat reactive oxygen species, harmful byproducts of metabolism, before being co-opted into natural light sources. This shift from antioxidant defense to light production hints at the multifunctional nature of evolutionary adaptations in the deep sea. Are the glowing secrets of bioluminescence a reflection of ancient metabolic battles buried deep within life's code? While bioluminescence offers incredible insights into deep-sea life, it also reminds us of the ocean's persistent mysteries and threats. Many benthic or seafloor habitats remain poorly understood because of the difficulty in studying bioluminescence in such obscure zones. The seafloor terrain and organic debris block much of the light's passage, limiting communication and camouflage strategies common in open water. As human activities, deep-sea mining, pollution, and climate change encroach upon these fragile ecosystems, we risk disrupting the balance sustaining these luminous creatures. Could interference in these light-based systems bring unknown consequences, hastening the loss of species that communicate and survive through this secret glow? Bioluminescence in the deep ocean is a haunting light show cast across an alien world, where shadows come alive and communication becomes a dance of photons in the dark. It evokes a strange blend of awe and unease, reminding us that beneath the waves lies a realm where life adapts with ingenious, even eerie, creativity. As we continue to explore and decode the lanterns flickering in the abyss, we confront the ocean's stories of resilience and mystery and the ever-thinner lines separating natural wonder from the uncanny. Maybe, in these quiet glimmers, the deepest secrets of the sea and our planet itself patiently await discovery. The ocean's deepest trenches are among the most alien and unexplored regions on Earth, places where pressure mounts to unimaginable levels and sunlight is but a distant memory. For decades, these Hadal zones, areas deeper than 6,000 meters, were believed to be nearly lifeless deserts. Recent scientific explorations, however, have shattered this misconception completely, revealing thriving ecosystems densely populated with bizarre, previously unknown creatures. What monsters might lurk in these profound abysses? What secrets lie in the crushing darkness? And how do these creatures defy nature's limits? One of the most remarkable discoveries in recent years comes from the Mariana Trench, the deepest known point in the ocean. Advanced submersibles equipped with high-tech sensors have plumbed depths exceeding 11,000 meters, capturing footage of strange amphipods, ghostly sea cucumbers, and peculiar tube worms colonizing volcanic slopes. These creatures endure an environment where pressure is equivalent to balancing a large SUV on a fingertip. Their existence challenges all assumptions of biological resilience and adaptation, showing how life has found niches even in the deadliest reaches of our planet. The trench ecosystems rely on an unusual source of energy, distinct from sunlight-based food chains. Chemosynthesis, a process underpinned by bacteria that convert methane or hydrogen sulfide into organic matter, forms the foundation of these deep-sea communities. This has revolutionized our understanding of life's versatility, especially when scientists uncovered dense clusters of tube worms, clams, and crustaceans thriving around hydrothermal vents and cold seeps. These vents spew scalding fluids rich in minerals, creating isolated hotspots of activity that resemble underwater oases in an otherwise barren wasteland. Intriguingly, recent investigations revealed that these methane-loving microbes are far more numerous and diverse than anticipated, contributing significantly to deep-sea carbon cycling. It's a hidden economy, a biological recycling system turning inorganic elements into life-sustaining fuel. The presence of unexpectedly high methane concentrations in sediment samples suggests dynamic processes previously underestimated, highlighting the trench's ecological importance. Moreover, new species discovered include scavengers that feast on shrimp-like crustaceans, suggesting complex food webs previously unseen in such extreme habitats. Scientists have also documented unexpected behavioral and physiological adaptations in trench dwellers. Some amphipods exhibit translucent bodies and long, spiny legs to feel their way along the pitch-black seafloor, while other organisms have specialized enzymes to withstand intense pressure and freezing temperatures. Fascinatingly, recent studies challenge older notions about pressure adaptation. For example, the concentration of certain protein stabilizers does not rise monotonically with depth as once thought. These findings underline that survival here defies simple explanations and that life has devised a variety of biochemical solutions to the abyssal puzzle. With every expedition, new discoveries prompt fresh questions. How many more species still hide in shadows too deep for sunlight and too extreme for most human technologies? How do these creatures interact socially, navigate, or reproduce in near-total isolation? The very notion of community life under such extreme conditions illuminates the resilience of biological systems, reminding us that even in the darkest recesses, life pulses with complexity. Recordings of strange sounds and unknown bioluminescent patterns fuel intrigue, suggesting an underwater world still filled with unsolved mysteries. Human activities increasingly threaten these fragile, isolated ecosystems. Deep-sea mining, pollution, and climate change effects penetrate even these remote trenches, raising urgent conservation concerns. The discovery of new species and ecosystems in recent years underscores how much is at stake should we lose these natural laboratories of extreme survival. Protecting them is not just about preserving biodiversity but about safeguarding clues to evolution, biology, and the interconnectedness of life on Earth. The deep trenches thus serve as reminders that the ocean's depths are alive with astonishing, often eerie forms of life. Beneath crushing darkness, the sea teems with creatures that straddle the line between reality and nightmare. Their biology challenges us to rethink what is possible, while their existence stirs a profound sense of mystery. In exploring these bottomless abysses, humanity confronts the edge of the known world, discovering not monsters of myth, but marvels of nature's relentless inventiveness. The Hadal Zone, plunging beyond 6,000 meters into the ocean's darkest depths, is a realm few have glimpsed and even fewer have truly understood. At such crushing pressures and frigid temperatures, life endures in ways that seem almost impossible. Yet, against all odds, an astonishing diversity of organisms thrive here, equipped with remarkable adaptations that show evolution at its most extreme. How can living beings survive when pressure is more than 1,000 times greater than at sea level, and food is a precious rarity? The answers lie in the incredible physiological and genetic innovations forged by millennia in this abyss. Among the most emblematic inhabitants of the Hadal depths are snailfishes, specialized vertebrates found deeper than 8,000 meters, including in the Mariana Trench. Genomic studies reveal that these fish have uniquely evolved in response to their forbidding habitat. For example, they possess a gene called Rh1, enabling vision in near-total darkness by detecting the faintest light. Interestingly, many other visual genes have been lost or down-regulated, showing an evolutionary trade-off tailored to the void. Other genes involved in hearing are often enhanced, suggesting that sound and vibration replace sight as primary senses in the silent deep. Could hearing be their way of seeing in the black? Metabolic adaptations also play a crucial role. Some Hadal fish have lost genes typically linked to metabolism to slow their energetic demands, allowing them to survive extended famine periods. Such metabolic tuning implies a life optimized for scarcity, where energy conservation is not just beneficial but essential. Their skeletal structures have transformed as well, with skulls that are not fully enclosed, allowing internal and external pressures to equilibrate and minimize damage. This peculiar trait shows nature's ingenuity, highlighting how flexibility, rather than rigidity, is sometimes the key to survival under pressure. The high-pressure environment poses yet another challenge: oxidative stress. Deep-sea creatures often face increased production of reactive oxygen species, harmful molecules that can damage cells and DNA. Hadal species have evolved multiple copies of proteins such as ferritin, which bind iron and mitigate oxidative damage, providing cellular protection. These molecular defenses illustrate a frontline battle raging unseen inside every cell. How might these adaptations influence longevity and mutation rates? The answers may unlock secrets about life's resilience and vulnerabilities under harsh conditions. Aside from vertebrates, many invertebrates survive and thrive here. Hadal amphipods, tiny shrimp-like creatures, exhibit gigantism, growing much larger than their shallow water relatives. Their cell membranes contain higher proportions of unsaturated fatty acids, increasing membrane fluidity and preventing cellular structures from becoming brittle under pressure. Moreover, these amphipods produce chemical compounds such as trimethylamine N-oxide, TMAO, which stabilizes proteins and protects them from pressure-induced deformation. These biochemical adaptations have parallels in vertebrates, illustrating convergent strategies shaped by the abyss's relentless demands. Food acquisition in the Hadal Zone is a story of opportunism and efficiency. Organic particles from upper ocean layers, marine snow, funnel into trenches by gravity, feeding an interconnected food web. Specialized scavengers feast on carcasses sinking into the deep or microbial blooms nourished by chemical seepage. Hydrothermal vents and cold seeps act as energy hotspots, sustaining unique microbial and animal communities through chemosynthesis rather than photosynthesis. This ecosystem, though distant and extreme, mirrors surface environments in complexity and resilience. The Hadal Zone's life is a testament to evolution's ability to exploit every available energy source. Isolation and restricted gene flow characterize Hadal species populations. Genetic data show that many Hadal organisms have spread across trenches over millennia, yet each population remains genetically unique. This isolation fosters high levels of endemism, meaning many trench-dwelling species are found nowhere else on Earth. Gigantism in amphipods and dwarfism in certain invertebrates underscore how extreme conditions sculpt not only physiology but also morphological traits. How these genetic bottlenecks and evolutionary pressures synergize to shape Hadal biodiversity remains a frontier of marine biology. These deep ocean adaptations challenge our understanding of life's possibilities. They compel us to redefine resilience, survival, and evolution under seemingly inhospitable conditions. As we continue to explore the Hadal Zone, unveiling hidden ecosystems and unknown species, we are forced to confront a profound truth. Life is far more tenacious and inventive than we imagined. The Hadal Zone isn't a barren abyss but a living laboratory of nature's most extreme solutions. An eerie, beautiful testament to the power of evolution pushing boundaries where few living things dare to tread.